Half a day students, I am Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. You all have been through a year of big changes. We've had to adapt and make big changes to keep our families and our island safe. But with change comes opportunity and a chance to try new things like PBS University. While Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and I will continue to do our part to keep our island safe, you students have a part to play as well. Your part is to keep learning and to keep up with your lessons. That's why I am happy to see you here ready to learn with PBS University. PBS University is a way to bring a continuous educational curriculum to you while you stay safe at home during this time. To help you keep up with your studies, we asked our friends at PBS Guam and the Guam Department of Education to put together this episode. Thank you for doing your part and have a great lesson.
PBS University is a program by PBS Guam and the Guam Department of Education in conjunction with public school teachers. These lessons are created to provide both parents and students with a unique educational experience while helping students to continue learning at home. PBS University, next on PBS Guam.
1, 2, 3, 4. Come along, let's sing a song. We'll have a great adventure. Today's the day, let's learn and play. We'll have a great adventure. Numbers, letters, science things, all that we can do. Help you deal with how you feel. Share with us too. It's super cool and just like school, our awesome learning adventures. So grab a friend, the fun will end. Our awesome learning adventures. Awesome learning adventures with PBS University.
Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to my riddle of the day. What do you get when you cross a fish and an elephant? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. You get swimming trunks. In today's episode, we are going to be learning how to use demonstrative pronouns. Let's talk about demonstrative pronouns. What are demonstrative pronouns, you may ask? They are the words this, that, these, and those. So let's take a shell that I found on the beach with my daughter, and let's say the shell is close to me. So we have one shell that is close. I can say, what is this? What if the shell was far from me on a table? Let's imagine my hand is a table. I can say, what is that? So we can use this and that for a singular object. This when it's close to us, and that when it's far from us. Let's add another shell that we found, and let's say that they're close to me. I can say, what are these? And once they are far from me, I can say, what are those? So we use these for things more than one thing that is close to us, and we can use those for plural things that are far from us. So one way that I like to remember things is sometimes I like to put it to a song. So do you know the song, head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes? Well, I actually like to put the demonstrative pronouns to that melody too. This, that, these and those, these and those. So if you're ever wondering how to remember the demonstrative pronouns, just put it to a song, like a common song like head, shoulders, knees and toes. So let's take our shells that we found and let's go make our craft. All right, let's go. Let's go on an adventure to Asan Beach Park to look for shells. This is my daughter Unai, and we went to go to Asan Beach Park to go and look for our shells for our craft project. I would use my demonstrative pronouns with her by saying, Unai, give me that shell, or this shell right here. now that we have our shells, let's go and make some crafts. So for this craft, you're going to need some shells, a pair of scissors, bobby pins, a glue gun, some twine, and a stick is optional. So for the wind chime, you're going to start with 3 strands, however long you want to make your wind chime, and you are going to braid those strands together. The reason why we're braiding it is so it can be pretty sturdy. And then you're going to want to figure out how many strings of shells you actually want for your wind chime. So for this wind chime, I decided to do 5, and then you're going to evenly place your lines of twine for your shells to hang. So I did about 1 inch in between each twine. So I tied my 5 pieces of twine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how I want my wind chime to look. So I'm just laying out my shells. What I decided to do was I would have a smaller shell on top and on bottom, and then a bigger shell in the middle, just to make it look kind of nice and fun. And then once you have it all laid out, wherever you're going to put the shell, you want to tie a knot, because this is the knot that is going to be your anchor for your shell. So I'm going to start off with the first one. So very carefully, you're going to want to take some hot glue, put it on the back of the shell, and then you are going to want to place the shell where the knot is. And then once you have the hot glue there, they should stick very nicely together. So this is the first strand. I'm just doing this just to kind of see what it looks like, and then I pick it up and it looks really cool and really fun. So then what I decided to do was that I decided to just make all of my knots so that I could expedite the process by gluing them all at the same time. So now I've tied all of my knots together on the twine. So I have 3 knots per hanging twine. And then I'm going to glue gun each of the shells to the knot. And I'm going to follow the order that I used when I was placing them. And now this is almost the finished product. So in order to hang it, what I decided to do was I took 1 piece of twine and I tied it to either ends of my wind chime. So I took one end, tied it to one end of my wind chime, and I took the other end of the twine and tied it to the other end. So now I should be able to hang it outside, and it should create nice, peaceful music when it flows in the wind. And finally, let's do our bobby pins. These bobby pins are fun and easy. You're going to want to take a shell that has a flat side. So I have this shell right here. Very carefully, you are going to put some glue on the flat side, and you're going to put it towards the end of the bobby pin. And then you're just going to let it dry. And then I took a second shell. This is a flat piece of a part of a spondylus shell. And then you're going to let that dry too. And here are our finished bobby pins. Beautiful. Hi, boys and girls. Thank you so much for making these awesome shell bobby pins and this amazing shell wind chime. So I'm going to actually hang this outside of my house now. I think it's so beautiful. And I love that we're using things that we find on our beaches here on Guam. All you need is a couple bobby pins and some string that you can find at Shop for Less, and a glue gun, and some scissors. And if you wanted to, you can actually do this on a stick and do it like this. But I wanted to make it a little bit easier, make it a little bit smaller, just to show you guys the different ways that you can use things that we find on our island. So, and what did we learn about today? We learned about demonstrative pronouns. So just remember our song, this, that, these, and those, these, and those. Thank you so much for being with me here today, and thanks for crafting with me. And just remember, you are amazing, and you can do anything you put your mind to. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!
Hello! Buenas and half a day. In the Marshallese language, we say Yahweh. Let's say it together. Yahweh! Welcome to PBS University Middle School Math Corner, where a positive attitude plus ability is equal to success. Well, here's a little math riddle to get us started. Ready? What did the math book say to the other math book? Don't bother me, I've got my own problems. Well, aren't you glad I'm not that other book, because we are here to help each other, right? So, how are you doing with your multiplication table? Do you need a little more practice? Well, there can never be enough practice, right? Have you been using your composition notebook to memorize your tables? Right here? How about using flashcards? Well, let's try a few. Can you tell me the missing number? That's right, 3. 9 times 9 is? That's right, 81. And on the other side, 2 times 7 is? That's right, 14. What is the missing number? That's correct, 2. Great job. How about using the finger method with the multiples of 9? Are you ready? Here we go. 1 times 9 is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 9 is 27. 4 times 9 is 36. And 5 times 9 is 45. Isn't that cool? Now let's try something different, practicing multiplication table using arts and crafts. That's right. Who would have thought that math could be so beautiful and colorful and even mesmerizing? Let's show you how it is done.
Let's begin with the multiplication flowers using scissors, glue, marker, and your assorted colors of construction papers. Let's choose your colors and begin to cut them out into the different shapes. We will begin with the large petals. Let's take the next construction paper and cut out the smaller petals. The green construction paper will be for the leaves. The blue construction paper, and you may use other colors. This will be for the center of the flower, and you just cut it out in a nice circle. We will take another color for the set of large petals. And then we will begin to form the flowers, alternating the two different colors just like this. And then begin to add on the smaller petals in the middle, again alternating the colors. And finally, the center of the flower. In the center of the flower, write the number that you would like to practice with. And in the smaller petals, begin to write numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 that you're going to multiply them with. So let's begin to multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. Here now you have a multiplication flower in the multiples of 4, and you can create other flowers in different multiples.
We will now create and practice the 10-point multiplication circles. Here we go. Using the multiples of 2, we will count by 2s. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Now for the multiples of 3, starting with 0, 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and 30. For the multiples of 4, beginning with 0, let's count. 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. For the multiples of 5, let's count starting with 0, multiples of 5, 0, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Next, we are going to create multiplication art using markers, crayons, paper plate with 12 dots all around. Next, we're going to take multiples of 3 and we're going to count by 3s and connect the dots. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then continue that same pattern, going all around, and just see what type of designs you can create. Here we have 1 in the multiples of 5 and the multiples of 8. Next step, let's color them in. Add in those pretty colors. You can be creative and use different colors and create different patterns. You never know what the design will come out to be. Well, I hope you had a beautiful time doing some beautiful multiplication art with us today. Remember to stay safe, stay positive with a smile, and thank you for joining us today. Komol, until then, Baryawe, adios.
Ali, Rananim, Hafaday, and Kamusta kayo lahat? I'm Miss Castro and welcome to Sci-Five's Home Shopping Showcase Network, where I will be showcasing marvelous merchandise. And what is being featured are priceless and one-of-a-kind jewelry. Priceless not because they are expensive, but because they don't cost a single dime. And one of a kind because they are made out of recycled materials. Like these necklaces here made out of recycled magazines. And these earrings here and necklaces are all made out of sea glass gems. What are sea glass gems, you ask? How are they made and who makes them? Well, stopping by the Sci-Fi Home Shopping Showcase Network are future jewelry fashion designers. I am so excited to see their talents in upcycling and repurposing, making luxurious merchandise when they reuse, reduce, and recycle, turning litter into glitter. But stay tuned for that jewelry making session after a word from our sponsor.
I want to show her how grateful I am for all she has done. What should I get her? I know, I'll make her a gift. It's gonna be one of a kind. This will definitely make her day. I know she'll like this gift.
Dylan's jewelry is made by the sea.
Welcome back! And now it's time for our jewelry showcase. Over here we have the Maga Haga line. This is made out of rose gold rope chain. And in the center we have the Y design necklace. The other side is made for ancient CHamoru royalty, the spondylus necklace. Here is our amber selection. Emerald green and white frost sea glass. All these precious gems were found like hidden treasure, and I'll tell you all about it. They left these bottles behind. Then they cracked from the impact of the waves and shattered even more as the waves kept rolling in. These jagged shards of glass would soon change shape. That process is called weathering. Most of the broken glass are found by the shores where the ebb and flow of waves cause them to tumble over and over again. They say it takes 20 to 40 years to get that frosted look on the glass. Sure, you can buy them at the store, but it's priceless when you go on a sea glass treasure hunt. Meet my friend Peter. Student by day, adventure seeker by after school. We will follow him on his quest for treasure of the sea glass kind, traveling across great distances from one giant boulder to another, fighting crashing waves to get to the secret spot. And he must dig deep into the sand. Oh wait, he found something already. Alas, matey, treasure and treasure and more treasure. He returns to his daytime dwelling, school, and shared his bounty with the other pirates, his 6th grade classmates. And after a quick lesson on jewelry making, the dudes bring on the bling. Thank you, Peter. We're here back at the studio where we're going to interview future jewelry fashion designer Kaori. And her line of crystal wire wrapped jewelry is just darling. What made you start making jewelry?
Seeing other small jewelry businesses and creators handmade jewelry inspired me to try it out. Further on, I found it very fun and therapeutic making it.
Do you find it easy to do?
At first, making jewelry was a bit frustrating, but with more practice, I can say I've mastered the skill. The best thing about making jewelry is seeing other people wear what you've made. And that piece of jewelry on another person feels like an accomplishment.
Why should you or other young ones try this craft out?
Because as youth, making jewelry can be a hobby and something you can do to enjoy. It can be helpful for stress and a way to take their minds off hard work like chores.
Thank you, Kaori, for taking time to join me. And now, another word from our sponsor.
Diamonds are forever, but sea glass at a touch of class is the Eclipse selection and take over the moon's spotlight. Eclipse by Kaori & Co.
The Sea Glass Jewelry Making Session is sponsored by Kaori & Co. Materials needed are beading wire, pliers with a wire cutter, and a ruler. A necklace cord, a jewelry making starter kit, which you can order online for real cheap. Oh, and of course sea glass. Sea glass from the beaches of Guam. And make sure they have lost all jagged edges and are rounded and smooth to give it a gem-like appearance. So first you choose your sea glass and decide which way you'd like it to appear. Take your beading wire and measure about 30 centimeters, which is the length of the ruler, and use the wire cutter to cut it. Now bend wire in half carefully, keeping the middle part rounded for the loop. Take a rounded instrument like this, or the tip of a pen or pencil, and wrap the wire around twice like this. This will make the loop. Now twist the wire underneath 4 to 5 times, or half the length of your sea glass. This will be your pendant's backbone. The tighter the twist, the stronger the wires will be. Then separate the wires like this. Take the first wire and create a design Try to wrap wire around the top to keep the loop firmly in place. When done with the first wire, wrap extra wire around the loop. Repeat process with the next wire. If there's too much wire, just cut the rest off. Tuck in any wire that may be sticking out, and there you go, your sea glass pendant. Now I will take the pendant's ring and twist it open gently and slide in the pendant's loop. Close the pendant ring back by pinching it with the pliers. Then I'll slide the cord through the pendant loop. And there you have it, a beautiful natural piece of art. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It was certainly a pleasure sharing with you this exquisite showcase of recycled material called the sensational sea glass. We got to discover, explore, respect, and restore. We joined Peter and Kaori as they explored this fun activity. We also got to respect the power of the waves as they can soften even the sharpest blade of glass with weathering. We also got to do some beautiful restoring, which calls to mind the saying, what is one person's trash could be another person's treasure. I'm Ms. Castro of the Sci-5 Home Shopping Showcase Network. And always remember, if it's glassy, it's classy.
Hafa students, welcome to PBS University. My name is John Fernandez, and I'm the superintendent of the Guam Department of Education. These PBS University lessons are made to help you to continue learning. The teachers here prepared fun lessons on science, character education, math, English, and more, and they made it for you, the students of Guam. We're very grateful to them for their instruction. We are also thankful for you students, parents, and guardians who are watching. Remember, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you soon in the next school year. Thank you.
Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome back to another social studies episode of PBS University. I am your host for today, and Annyeonghaseyo means hello in Korean. I'm always trying to add in extra languages, learn at least how to say hello in another language. So maybe you guys can start giving that a shot too, huh? Well, I have a question for you. Have you ever seen a clam that big? That thing is huge, isn't it? Oh my goodness, ginormous. How about jewelry like this? Or like this? Today, I have a special guest who's going to tell us about how the ancient CHamoros used crafts and carved jewelry, tools, weapons, and other things to survive with. So come on this adventure, let's go.
Afade. My name is Frank Mateo, and I've been an educator with GDOE for 20 years. I am a local fisherman, also a carver of CHamoru jewelry for almost 2 decades. And today I want to talk to you about how carving was used during ancient times. The primitive skill of carving was important in all Pacific cultures and in CHamoru society because carving was vital to life during ancient times. And although materials were the same as it was back then, the reasons for carving today is a little bit different. We do carve for CHamoru jewelry nowadays, although back then the reasons for carving were much more to sustain life in the island. In CHamoru society, they developed a caste system that was very sophisticated, and within the caste systems, shell ornaments and body ornaments made from different varieties of seashells were used to distinguish social status and class. Spanish visitors also made note that ancient CHamoros wore little to no clothing. However, they were adorned with many ornaments that were carved back then that separated the different castes within our society. In ancient Chamorro carvings, the skill of carving for tools and making jewelry and ornaments back then was very different than the way we use them for today. Many tools were used for implements that made and sustained the livelihood of Chamorro people, and carving them from stone was just as important in everyday living in order to sustain daily life. So some of the stone tools that were used back then were made from a variety of materials such as basalt stone, limestone, river stone, clay, and sometimes stalactites that would come from our caves on the cliff sides. Latte stones are the first ones I want to talk about, and they are the monoliths of the Pacific. This is a symbol that represents strength in our culture, and they took place 150 AD to 850 AD, about 700 years before first Europeans ever came along our shores. They also produced many farming tools, such as what we call the gatsai or the guesguis, tools to sharpen and shape stones and shells. Medicinal use, such as the lumbuk or the lusung or the putut. These were stone tools that were sometimes heavy or used from basalt rock and limestone to manufacture or process medicine and food. Sling stones that were used for warfare were processed from many materials such as clay, basalt stone, clam shells or hema, limestone, and stalactites. Some adze or tools that were used for farming and carving were called the gatsai and higem. They were carved in order to cut down lumber or trees that were prominent during those times, and made things such as scrapers from fragments of stone, and also knives, which we call in Chamorro setsi. Now, shell tools and materials used during the pre-Latte era and the Latte era consisted of things like hema or giant clam, Tridacna gigas or Tridacna maxima. These were the two prominent clams that were around during those times. Very hard material, took very long to grow, and very heavy.
Look how big this thing is. It's heavy too.
So to fabricate tools from them took a lot of work. I want to leave you with a quote. And the quote reads, "In order to know the Marianas, you need to know her islands. And in order to know her islands, you need to know her people. But in order to know her people, you need to know her culture." So I want to thank you again for tuning in. Go out there, explore, get to know some of your local carvers out there, and learn more about Chamorro culture and their ways. Thank you so much.
Wow. I can't believe they did all of that without real tools. That's impressive. I'm going to go try to check out some local carvers and see how they do it now. And I think you guys should try to come along sometime. Go check them out, see what they can show you, and see how it's different. See if you can make anything. I think that'd be pretty cool. I want to try to make something. So thank you guys. Thank you, Mr. Mateo, for joining me. I appreciate that lesson, stuff I didn't even know. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay safe, stay curious, stay active. I will see you guys next time.
Mogatin, my friends! I'm so glad you're here today with me at PBS University for our character education lesson. You know, Mogatin means hello in the Yapese language. So the reason why I'm glad you're joining me today is because I have a friend that has a problem and can use our help. You see, this friend is feeling quite overwhelmed. Have you ever felt overwhelmed? I know I have. Felt like you had so many things to do and so little time and you kept forgetting and you felt disorganized. So I know somebody that's in a similar sort of situation and can really use some help. Do you think you can help out? Okay, let's go listen to the story and see what we think.
Dear friends, my 8th grade year has been great, but also really tough. I feel like there are so many things to remember. I have a project due next week and a math test. Then I have to help make brownies for a student council. I have to help with my family's party for on Saturday. And I have forgot my sister's birthday, so I felt pretty bad. What can I do to feel less overwhelmed?
Here's some help if you're feeling overwhelmed. There are lots of reasons someone might feel overwhelmed, and those include too many activities, you're in a new situation, you procrastinated, meaning you waited too long to take action, you have a lack of organization, or you just simply don't know how to start. These things are all completely natural and happens to everyone, so here are some things that you can try. First of all, try keeping a calendar. When you have appointments or due dates, write them down and check your calendar daily. It also helps to start with a list of goals. When you start out your day or you start out a study session, make a workspace and make a work time. Set aside a place that has all your books and materials, and set aside a time where you will only focus on your work and nothing else. To add to that, it's important to eliminate distractions. You'll be more productive if you're not constantly staring at a phone or TV, so turn it off or put it on silent. It's also good to start a project early and try to finish it early. You can push the deadline up a few days so that if there's any problems, you can address them. Don't forget to make time for yourself. In your busy schedule, it's easy to forget that you need time to have fun and relax too. So also, along those lines, make sure you're getting good rest and you're eating healthy food. And as always, don't forget to stay positive. You've got this and you can do it. Let's make a waterfall calendar. You will need these basic supplies. Pick a shape to cut out. I chose a circle and I traced it with a cup. You're going to need at least 7, but I made 8 just in case. After you trace them, you're going to need to cut them out. Now you need to fold the bottom about 1 centimeter and just trim the tip off. It doesn't have to be exact. Now we're going to write the days of the week and decorate it on each circle. I like to use lots of different colors and patterns to make it as decorative as possible. Now I want you to measure and cut a 3 centimeter strip. Once again, it doesn't have to be exact. Now fold the strip in half and mark it. From the middle, you're going to mark 8 sections, and these sections are 1 centimeter in length. Now go ahead and draw the lines on the strip, and now fold the sections. Okay, it's ready to add the days of the week on. So take the days of the week starting with Sunday and attach the circles to the 1 centimeter sections. If you're using glue, make sure the glue doesn't get all over the other circles. The waterfall section is almost complete. That's pretty cool. To finish it off, you're going to need to make another tab. Again, you don't have to be precise, but I went ahead and cut out a 2 centimeter tab to attach in the back. Fold the circles down and go to the top. Now tape or glue the tab to the top front. Once again, if you use glue, make sure not to get it all over the place. Pull the bottom of the strip through the tab in the back, and there you have it. That's the waterfall portion of our calendar. Now let's move on to the pocket. Take a new sheet of paper, fold it, and cut it in half. Now you're going to fold it almost halfway, and then you're going to pull it all the way up, and then fold it halfway. This leaves you a little area in the pocket. Now to make the sides of the pocket, you're going to need 2 strips of paper. Make sure they're the same height as the pocket. Now take 1 strip and fold it into a fan like this. And then go ahead and do the same thing for the other sheet of paper. Now this part is a little bit tricky. We want to attach the fan sides to the sides of the pocket. So I went ahead and glued and taped them to the side of the pocket. This part is easy. What's tricky is getting it attached to the front side of the pocket. So I put the tape backwards, added some glue, and voila, the pocket is ready. Now we want to get some strips of paper to make cards for the date. So I fold the paper and cut it into 4 sections. Now I'm going to write numbers 0 and 1 on the top and bottom. This is going to be for the first number in the date. I flip it around and I write 2 and 3 in the back. Put it in the pocket and now start working on the other cards. So you're going to do the same for numbers 0 through 9. Use these to mark the date. When a new day comes, you just flip it around. Now we're going to put it all together. Use some glue or tape and attach the tab to your main sheet. Now glue the pocket and attach that too. Insert your cards for the date and put the correct day of the week. Now attach it to your fridge and enjoy.
Thank you, my friend, for joining me today. I had a great time learning about how to stay organized, and we made that handy calendar craft as well. I hope to see you again soon. Until that time, I want you to stay safe, and I want you to stay curious. Adios, everybody.
Hoppa day, Toru Malik, how are you? Hoppa day, Toru Malik, thank you. Hoppa day, talofa, hoppa day, talofa. Hoppa day, talofa. Hoppa day, talofa. Hoppa day, talofa. Hoppa day, PBS University friends, and talofa. We say talofa in Samoan. Can you say hoppa day and talofa? I'm Senora Max, and if you remember in our previous episode, we spoke about what it has to do with these, our haiguas. That's right, Famagun. The tree of life, the truncan linatla, our coconut tree. Remember? Today, if you remembered what we spoke about, what is it that we loved adding our coconut into in our previous lesson? That's right, our kelagwins, our fish kelagwin, our chicken kelagwin, our beef kelagwin. So much food we can do with this. Well, today, PBS University friends, it is going to be so much fun because we are going to visit our friends at the Coconut Tree Company. And boy, do we have a treat for you in what we are going to be learning about today. It has something to do with this. Let's get ready to go and visit our friends at the Coconut Tree Company. Come on, let's go. Come on in, friends. Mila Halam. We are here with our friends. Let's say hoppa day and talofa. Oh my gosh, how fun! Look at this, guys. Can you guess by looking at this what we are making today or learning about from our friends? Yes, we are making coconut candy. Now, Famagun, let's learn about the ingredients that we need to make our bukadzu or Kanden nizuk. Are you ready? Our very first one and the most important ingredient is our kamzun nizuk, where we grind the coconut, the meat of the coconut. Kamzun nizuk. Can you say kamzun nizuk? Awesome job, Famagun. How about this? Hanum. Hanum. You drink it. Hanum. Hanum means water. Can you say Hanum? Malik, Famagun. Another ingredient, Famagun, is letsi. Letsi. Milk. Can you say letsi? Malik, Famagun. Another ingredient, Famagun, is the vanilla extract, okay? Vanilla extract. Do you love vanilla? How do you say vanilla in your language? And our last three ingredients, Famagun. Get ready. Asiga. Asiga. Salt. Can you say asiga? Malik, PBS University friends. What about asukat? Asukat. Asukat means sugar. Can you say asukat? How many of you like asukat? We love a lot of sweets, right? Yep, a lot of asukat. And of course, our last one, PBS University friends, corn syrup. Corn syrup. And now, Famagun, before, I am getting so excited. Before we get to our surprise at the end with our friends from the Coconut Tree Company, let's review our words that we have learned. Do you remember in the beginning we spoke about coconut candy? What do we call coconut candy? That's right, bukadzu or Kanden nizuk. That's right, Famagun. How about the most important ingredient from our nizuk, from our coconut? Kamzun nizuk. That's right, Famagun. After that, we spoke about something you drink that adds an ingredient to our bukadzu or Kanden nizuk. That's right! Hanum! Great job, Famagun! And then this next ingredient, you eat it with cereal. I do. What do you think? That's right, Famagun! Let's see, milk! Then we also have as an important ingredient, or it's by your choice, right? Our vanilla extract. We also added in the ingredients the asiga, which is the salt, and the asukat, which is the sugar. Lastly, we did say, what was that ingredient? That's right, corn syrup, Famagun. Awesome job. Let's get ready for our surprise. Here we add the hanum. Then we're going to add the asukat. Next up, we do have our asiga. Yeah, asiga. Then we have our corn syrup. That's right, Famagun, our corn syrup. We're just gonna go ahead and stir it. Once our ingredients come to a boil, we add our letsi, Mix it together and pour it into our Kamsen Nizyuk. That's right. Then we get ready to stir it up until it turns brown to where we will shape it and it'll come out looking like this. How yummy and so sweet. Sizois Maasi PBS University friends for joining me on learning about our Nizyuk, our Kamsen Nizyuk, or learning with our friends at the Coconut Tree Company with our Kanden Nizyuk and how to make it, how to prepare it, and learning beautiful words with our Chongkandi Natla. Sizois Maasi, have fun with your coconut. Adios!
Fast, fun facts. Fast, fun facts. With Mr. Ernest Ochoco.
Half a day, everyone. This is Mr. Ernest Ochoco with another Fast Fun Fact. And we're going to talk about something very, very delicious today. And our diversity word is going to be part of that deliciousness. It's called Nizyuk. Nizyuk. Ooh, do you guys know what that is? It's coconut. I love coconut, and it's so healthy for you. Now, Guam has a lot of different types of cultural importance. And one of the things that's really important in the culture of Guam is the food. Ooh, look at all that food. Yummy. I love food. So anyway, I wanted to talk about something that's really near and dear to me. And that is the coconut candy. Coconut candy. Yum. Food, glorious food. Da 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 da. And one family in particular took their food history, their family history, and their Guam history and put it all together in the form of a company, the Coconut Tree Company. Let's go and visit them at their store and find out a little bit more about Guam's rich cultural history in food. Yum! This is my friend Inina, and Inina is actually the daughter of the owner of the store. Tell us about how the store began.
Well, my dad was really close with his grandpa, otherwise known as my great-grandpa, and my great-grandpa owned a bakery. And that bakery had many pastries and whatnot, but he had an especially secret coconut candy recipe that he passed down to my father. And therefore, my dad decided to make his company surrounding that recipe in honor of his great-grandpa. So now we have the Coconut Tree Company.
And I was looking at something behind us. What is that behind us? Is that a flour sack?
It's actually one of the original flour sacks that was at the bakery at the time that my great-grandpa was working at the bakery.
Thank you so much, Nina. Bye.
Bye.
That was so informative. I loved learning a little bit more about Guam's history and culture, especially food culture. Thank you to Mia, Dane, and Inina for helping us out at the Coconut Tree Company. And a special thank you to my good friend, Gary Tanaka, the owner of Coconut Tree Company and the father of Inina, the grandson of Tommy Tanaka. Well, that's it for me, Mr. Ernest Ochoco, for your Fast Fun Fact.
Hafa-Day students, I'm Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio. For more than a year now, you all have continued to wash your hands and watch your distance from others, and you've done a really great job wearing your masks. We know your parents and guardians have helped you to make these changes to keep yourself and your community safe. As Governor Leon Guerrero said, we are happy you are here, We want you to continue to learn and sharpen your skills with the help of PBS University. This program is the result of a collaborative effort. We couldn't do it alone. I'd like to thank the teachers and support staff of the Guam Department of Education and PBS Guam for their work and their commitment to our students. I'd also like to thank you, students, for participating at home. To your parents, I'd like to thank you for taking an active role in your child's education. We are all eager to return to a time when all of us can share and study together in person. Until then, we hope you learned something new from this PBS University instruction.